Now, based on this, let's continue more. Now, the three things happen. Eventually, they are in their weaknesses. They move to Moab. And the man name was Elimelech, verse 2. Wife Naomi, name of two sons are Maham and Chilion. Then they are from an area called Titus. The residents of Bethlehem in Judah. And they went to the country of Moab and remained there as a sojourner. Then what? Elimelech died. Then what? The two sons took wives. Then what? The two sons died, right? Verse 5. And both Maham and Chilion died, and the woman was left without her two children and her husband. The woman's Naomi. Now the focus turned from brothers to a sister. It's no longer Elimelech, and no longer Maham, no longer Chilion. It come to Naomi. And Naomi was left without her two children. Children are hope. You see children, you see hope. And husband, the one you depend on. So now you have no one to depend on. You have no hope. Think about it. Now you brothers have so much to rely on, don't you? Yeah, I have my young age, right? A good health. I have a heart for the Lord, for the Lord's future, right? And you didn't realize you have too much to rely on. When the Lord really working on you, really work with you, there's nothing to rely on. You know, that's a deep, very deep experience. Today I ask you, what do you depend on? You say, Christ. You say, the church. You say, brother. You say, young people you serve. You have so much to rely on. Then what is your hope? Oh, I have sons, I have daughters, and I have all the young people I serve. I have hope. But, do you know, the Lord loves you, eventually love to bring you to a place. This could be too profound for you. Eventually, there's nothing to rely on. Let me ask you, who gives you growth? Spiritually. Paul says, I sowed, Apollos watered, but God gives the growth. Do you want to rely on Paul? Do you want to rely on Apollos? Apollo cannot give you growth. Paul cannot give you growth. I can sow, Apollo can water, but God gives the growth. Oh, I tell you, brother, this is a high lesson. When you are young, can you learn this lesson? Your understanding is, oh, it's so hard, but I have fellowship with brother so-and-so or sister so-and-so. After fellowship, oh, praise the Lord, my problem is solved. So you see, what you focus is a problem. Then you say, oh, I don't know how to have a spiritual life, but sister so-and-so call me all the time. After that, my morning revival life is established. You see, you are on morning revival. I don't know how to minister, but praise the Lord, the brothers made assignment 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Do you do that in the meeting? I did it. Even when I was young, I did it. I told the brother, you are number one after message. You are number one to say something. You are number two. You're number 3, you're number 4, I'm number 5. Remember, if you don't say something, I have nothing to say. One sit down, praise the Lord, and sit down. The second one, praise the Lord, sit down. The whole thing is mechanic. And the brother began to say, praise the Lord, I usually don't give a testimony. Through Titus' help, now I give testimony in the meetings, and they didn't realize I was maneuvering. And now I'm becoming old, I never do this kind of thing. But I encourage you young people to do this kind of thing. But remember, that is because you want to solve your problems. That is because you want to have a morning revival. That is because you want to minister. Or that is because you want to read the Bible. And that is because you want to preach gospel. With all the spiritual things, you can have a lot to rely on, but to your own growth, to your own life, there's no one you can rely on beside Christ himself. Amen. You know, eventually, Lord brought Naomi through such hard experiences. It is hard, right? When every day he said, oh, my God is my Lord. Every time when we call, her husband was, hey, my God is my Lord. Then he died. No way to talk about that anymore. They began to say, hey, mild. Well, still something there, right? Even though smile. Then he died. So he began to say, pining, wither. Think about the voice in the family. Original, my God is my Lord, is saturated in the family. Then it become mild, saturated in the family. Then withering, saturated in the family. But even wither is dead. Everything's gone. So the Bible here says, eventually, the woman was left without her 2 children and her husband. Then at this time, there's nothing she can rely on, and there is a spiritual revival. But remember that one day you'll be left with nothing. Even your ministry, your operation of your ministry will be frustrated to the uttermost. There's nothing you can rely on. The only thing you can do is, Lord, I depend on you. If without you, I have no other thing but death. That is the time. That is the time. You know what's happened? Revival coming in. These are go by different stages. Your growth in life is not like this. Your growth life is actually like this. That, oh, I feel so good. The Lord says, come down, come down. Oh, I feel so bad. The Lord says, come up, come up. Then you say, oh, praise the Lord, everything's heavenly. The Lord says, come down, come down. But you realize, every time when you come up, the up is better than the previous up. You know the Lord more now. The Lord become more real to you now. So at the end you find out, Lord, now I think about these 10 years, 15 years. I'm so different compared with 10 years ago. What is the reason? I tell you why. Every morning I have morning watch. Every Lord's Day I make meetings. And I have preaching gospel all the time. And praise the Lord, I'm with companions. And praise the Lord, I follow the elders' decision. And praise the Lord, this is ritualistic church life. And you must have it, right? You can't say, it's up and down, I'm going to be down. From now I'm not going to church meeting anymore. Then you are really down. You're not down, you're out. Not out, you're finished. Not only finished, you're dead. I hope before you die, you can preach the gospel to somebody and she can continue your life. Before these 2 boys died, they married wives. That's why I said they're gospel friends in a way. Their fruit continued. In your subject experience, you are up, then you are down. Then you are up more, then you are down. But you have to be very thankful. Every time when there is up, you say, Lord, I don't know you like this before. I don't understand you that much before. You're not that real to me before. Praise become much more precious, much more attractive, much more lovely, much more meaningful to you when you have another up. Then you say, I hope we can stay here. There's a hymn, oh, let us abide here all the time. When I was young, I liked that song. And I like that verse, oh, abide here all the time. The Lord said, wake up, walk out of the hall, and go down. You cannot be in every tower all your life. Go out. You may fail. You may be tempted. You may confront problems. You may realize many things that distract you from the Lord. And you may realize, how can you be that lousy, that terrible? But when you are so terrible, feel so lousy, so defeated, remember, come back to the Lord. Amen. Don't abide in your weakness. When you come back, you find out, praise the Lord. I was in my failure. I was in my limitations. But my Lord become much more precious. I give you a story. I love the Lord. I love the Lord so much. I told the Lord, Lord, I hope with me, there's no 1 minute wasted. So I was in the military school learning English. 4 classes in the morning, 4 classes in the evening. At night, everybody have self-study. The first break, I read the Bible. The third break, I read the Bible. And after lunch, I have a very short nap. I will go down to the field where nobody's there. I will pray. Then in the afternoon, the first break, I read the Bible. The third break, I read the Bible. Every day, I'm so disciplined. I pray the most crazy prayer. I said, Lord, now you can't ask me anything more, right? Every minute I have given to you. After that prayer, for some reason I realized I made the wrong prayer. I should have prayed, Lord, I love you. Draw me even more. The Lord would answer me in a better way. But I prayed a stupid prayer. I know something's going to be wrong, but I don't know what's going to happen. Just a few days later, in the afternoon, I was in the class. I just feel somebody hit me here real hard. Bang! You know, it became extremely painful. I went to the hospital, take x-ray. The doctor said, you need hospitalized. You need a total rest for as long as needs. So I cannot read the Bible anymore like that. For 4 weeks, I can only pray. I got the air coming to the lung. It's called pneumothorax. I was in hospital, all the airs are gone. After that, I go back to school. So every break I go out, take a walk. And I cannot read the Bible that much anymore. If I can lay down, I'll lay down more. I was in a very bad place, either a famine or without much Christ. I told the Lord, Lord, I cannot read that much Bible, but I can love you. I love you more. The Lord's presence was with me for a long time, for so rich. Why? Because I was down, I was brought up again. Many times, we still have some way to do something. Lord, I'm going to do this. Lord, I'm going to do that. Then, do you still want to read Bible for me like that? No, Lord, I don't have the strength. Then do you love me? Lord, I still love you. That's good enough. Love me more. Do you know, brother, isn't that surprising? Lord desires us to have Him. More than cling to anything else. More than cling to the truth, the reading of the Bible, the preaching of the gospel. But when you love Him so much, of course you are in the truth. Of course you preach gospel. Of course you are with the brothers. Of course you operate in the church life. But what became precious was no longer the outside things, but Christ Himself. Amen. You know, brother, precious, hard times, in comparative case, always force you to pursue more of the Christ. You know, I'm happy that we are not Elimelech. That is too much. I don't know if I can handle it. I don't know how Naomi handled it. Lost a husband, lost a son, then lost another son. But after all the valley experience, the dreadly experience in Moab, after all the experience of suffering, she awake. Now she become a spiritual woman. I believe she has always been spiritual. But now she become a real spiritual woman. So verse 6, then she rose up with her daughters-in-law in order to return from the country of Moab. For she has heard in the country of Moab that Jehovah had visited His people, or had mercy, there's different translations, come to the aid of His people by giving them food. Remember? She left because there's no food. Now after she left for 10 years, in these 10 years, she lost her husband. She lost her 2 sons. But she gained, praise the Lord, in their weakness, they still preach gospel. She gained 2 good sisters. So now she says, I'm ready. I'm ready to go back because I realized all the blessings in the world eventually means nothing. All the blessings in the world eventually has no real value. You eventually have to say, in God's house there is food. You want to make a lot of money? What do you want? Is it wealth? How much money is wealth? Do you have 1 million? Is that wealth? $1 million? No. $10 million? Huh? 100 million?
I don't know, 10 million.
What do you mean by wealth? You want to have wealth, Solomon. Enjoy everything, he said, vanity of vanity. But anyway, people try and get it. After you get it, nothing. And people try so hard to get it. I never get it, nothing. I talk about my schoolmates. Some have the ambition. I will become ambassador. I will become minister of finance. I will become a CEO of what. But eventually, they're old. What. Brother, at that time they realized there's so many things on this earth, yet there's no value. But they also heard there is a warehouse in the church life. God has given them food. Eventually, it's interesting. The brother called, he said, in their reunion, we talk about you. We appreciate you. We remember you. Now they begin to feel, we wish we could have life like that Mr. Chu. He lived his life in the warehouse. He lived in his life according to God. And we had our life, we tried all things, and eventually we are old, we realize there's nothing there for us. You try. You can try. But after you tried all, you realize there's nothing. But they only see me artificially. They haven't come to my depths. If they have come to my depths, I would tell them, no. Even my living for Christ as a full-timer is nothing. Even the way I serve the church doesn't mean that much. What is really valuable is that in these 50 years, how this very Christ is wrought in me. How this very Christ become my center, become my focus, become my labor, become my operation. How this very Christ become everything to me, because with him there is unsearchable riches. The unsearchable riches of Christ. Do you like that? Brother, many things happen. But eventually you will see there's one day you begin to say, I like to rise up. In that one day, I like to see, only in the church life, only with Christ, there is everything. Eventually, the Bible here says, they heard the Lord Jehovah had visited his people by giving them food. The real satisfaction is only with Christ himself.